everybody and welcome to another deck profile. This time I'm bringing back the SHINOBIRDs as I do, or trying to do from now on monthly, because it's probably one of my favorite decks to play and I just want to constantly improve it every month, give you guys like what's the best build, because I know there are some dedicated SHINOBIRD plays, but there is a lot of disagreement between the builds, between like a more pure version, Brilliant Fusion version, Kaiju version, and I believe Wind Witch version. Those are the more like go-to versions of the deck, but each build is able to find its own success. But right now I'm going with the Kaiju variant just because I feel like it's the best competitive version. As we saw, a player, I don't know the name exactly, but he did top UDS, I believe it was UDS Sacramento, and he was using the Kaiju variant. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over the builds and then follow up by some explanations, maybe explain on the way. And yeah, also if you guys did enjoy this video at the end, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and feel free to subscribe, because it shows me that you like what I'm doing, and I'll be giving you guys more uploads, not updates, especially now that Easter holidays just came by. In these 2 weeks I'll probably be uploading a deck profile every other day, so yeah, stay tuned for that. So without further ado, I'm just gonna go into the deck profile. Starting off with 4 different kaijus. Well, kaiju-like monsters. So we have Lava Golem, Dogoran, Gadala, and Gameciel. The reason I just picked one of each was because to show you like the examples, but generally speaking, you want to be playing 4 monsters that you can use to tribute your opponent's monsters. Lava Golem is really nice, but it does sacrifice your normal summon. Dogoran is really good, but it has the problem that it's 3000, so unless you bounce back to the hand by giving it to your opponent, you either have to crash it or bounce. And yeah, it's just it's pretty good, but maybe just play one copy of it. Gadala and Gameciel are my favorite ones to play just because they have the lowest attack points and they are level 8 and they are kaijus, so very good. And the kaijus just have amazing synergy with trading, so like you can give your opponent the kaiju, bounce it back with Peacock, and then use it for trade-in. So that's like a really nice combo that this deck is able to do. Yeah, so for that reason, I just really like playing the kaijus now. And then, yeah, you can also play Sphere Mode, but like Sphere Mode isn't level 8, I believe. Sphere Mode, it's a level 10, so yeah, it's not as good for that reason, but yeah, any of these guys is really good. Lava Golem is like in between a kaiju and Sphere Mode, but obviously sacrifices your normal summon. So yeah, that about concludes the kaiju. Just play 4 types of kaiju-like monsters, preferably level 8. So yeah, then we're playing the Hinokatsushi. This card is really good. When it inflicts battle damage, the opponent discards all the cards in their hand during their next draw phase before they draw. So then it just leaves the opponent with 1 card. So if you're able to pull this off by making this guy deal battle damage, you'll be in a really good spot, because then your opponent just has like 1 card to play with, and if you have the Lancelot, you can immediately negate that card, so very good. Then for the MVP of the deck, a Mano Irado, One Rocky Boy, the Mountain, the Rock, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. This card is absolutely phenomenal. This basically punishes bots that just want to vomit everything out on the field and just want to have like lots of monster negations, things like Pendulum Magicians, DDDs, those types of decks, frogs sometimes, if they have like totally awesome Cyber Dragons, if they have like Infinities and Pleiades. Basically types of deck that rely on stopping the opponent from playing using monster effects. Mano Iwado shuts those decks down. This is a very punishing card, and for that reason I bumped it up to 3, because I want to see this card in my opening hand, because I'm playing Triple Baron. If I was playing Triple Baroness, I'll probably leave it at 2, but even then sometimes if I feel like the Manju play is going to be like stopped like immediately, or the Aratama summon, just going for a Mano Iwado is just like, alright, cool, I have a Mano Iwado, you can't use hand traps, you can't use monster negates. Yeah, so this guy is just phenomenal. It's like a skill drain themed for spirits, so this guy is really good. Just play at 3 for now. Then playing the double SHINOBIRD card, I feel like this card still has its spot in the deck, because it's able to give you a draw when you special summon a spirit or normal summon. If another spirit is normal or special summoned while this guy's on the field, you can draw cards. So for that reason, it's still in its spot in the deck. I'll probably cut it down to 1 when eventually I do get the Devarocho cards, because I still want to have this guy in the deck, but I don't need it to win. That's the idea in the build. Playing Triple Manju for now is still like the best searcher on normal summon, because you're able to either get a spell or a ritual monster. So very, very nice. And then double Aratama. I could possibly play a 3, but I don't need it at 3 because you want to see this card sometimes win all the times. Like Aratama plus Manju is like really bad because you have 2 normal summons, and most of the time you're just going to be tributing the Aratama. But if you don't have the Manju, then you can always search the Hinokagutsushi with Aratama, and then you can discard it for trading, and then banish it in the grave for the requirement for the tribute summon. So that's pretty good. But for that reason, I still prefer to play it 2. Then I'm playing triple Nikitama. This is like the card that unifies the spirits and the ritual portion of the deck. The reason being because when this card is sent to the graveyard, while you control a spirit, you can draw a card. So if you tribute this card, use it for like the tribute requirements, and then you summon a spirit, you get a draw. So you basically don't lose as much. And I feel like that's like really, really nice. And it's also a double summon for spirits. So when this card is not during the time this card was normal summon off left face up, you can normal summon a spirit monster in addition to your normal summon / set. So that's pretty good. A lot of times that's how you're going to be summoning out the Hinokagutsushi, by tributing like another monster that you control, like a Manju plus a Nikitama, and then summoning out the Hinokagutsushi, getting the draw off Nikitama, dealing battle damage, discarding your opponent's hand, and overlaying this into like a land slot. So very, very nice. Then for the Shino-Baron and Baroness ratio, I'm still rocking the 3-2. Baroness is really good, but only in some matchups, while Baron is pretty much good like in every matchup. So yeah, so like especially against things like Altergeist and whatever, Emmanuel Iwado will just like kill the Altergeist, and then you can choose to like bounce all the monsters that they summoned, or you can choose to like bounce the protocols and whatever. So in that matchup, Baroness is better, but generally speaking, Baron is just a lot stronger because it's non-targeting removal. It's like Madolche, Queen Tiramisu on steroids. Like instead of bouncing 2, bounces 3. And they can also special summon out a spirit, ignoring the summoning condition, so then they don't bounce back. So if you have the Emmanuel Iwado in the hand, you can special summon it, and then boom, skill drain forever, unless they kill it somehow. And then Baroness is pretty much the same, but she bounces 3 spells and traps and special summons a spirit from the deck. So that's really good. Then we are playing the triple Ben 10. Ben 10 found I swapped the Seravis for the Ben 10 because I realized, or remembered even, that Ben 10 was a thing, and I was like, wait, why am I playing Seravis when I can play a Ben 10? Because Ben 10 is a prep target, and also when she's sent to the graveyard, she is able to fetch us a Nikitama or a Manju, so that's like really nice, really good utility. Even though she's level 6, like most of the time you're gonna be using 2 monsters for the tribute summon anyway. Like you're gonna be pitching 2 monsters unless you use like a Baron or Baroness in the grave, or a Kaiju in the hand, or like a Kagutsushi from the hand or graveyard. But a lot of times you're gonna be pitching 2 monsters, so you know Ben 10 doesn't really matter with levels that much. So you're gonna be exceeding, but still, Ben 10 is just like really, really good. Then I'm playing Preparation of Rites, every ritual deck.com card. Basically, this card's really good. This card gives you access to a ritual spell and a monster, so that's really, really nice. Like it gives us access to our Shinobird's Calling and our Shino-Baron or Baroness, so very, very powerful. And then I'm playing triple trade-in now in this build for more draw power. Draw power is really nice. Just had a sip of water. Trading is really nice because we are able to pitch, like I said, the Kaijus, the Hinokagutsushi, or the Baron or Baroness, so we have plenty of targets, and honestly, you want to see this card in your opening hand every single time. Playing Monster Reborn and Upside Goblin as one-offs, these guys are sort of like win more. Upside Goblin, I mean, the draw 1 is really good, but giving our opponent life points is not as good because we are trying to kill our opponents relatively quickly, maybe over the course of like 1 turn or 2 turns. Like if we can get the OTK, very nice. If we don't, then we just set it up to kill them anyway. The amount of advantage that will generate and put our opponent in disadvantage, like bouncing the monsters and bouncing the spells and traps to the deck, will make sure that we have more resources than they do. But still, giving you life points just sometimes cannot be as good. That's why I'm not playing the Cowboy, because sometimes I find that I don't have enough damage, and you know, Cowboy for game is just pretty nice. Monster Reborn is pretty good because we are able to revive like a few good cards, like a Kaiju maybe, or a a kaiju even, or let's say an extra deck monster. Most of them that's what you're going to be going for, but this card I'll most likely take it off the deck when the Deadly Ritual cards are legal. So yeah, Preparation of Rites is really good, giving us the calling, basically allowing this deck to play on for a lot longer, just because previously you only had access to like 3 ritual summons, right? And if you were playing Ritual Urgent Art, then you'd have like 4 ritual summons, and that was pretty much it. So you were like in a lot of pressure playing this deck. But now with prep, you can take your time and like just like win the opponent over time, instead of just having to like rush them down, and if you didn't, then you'd lose basically. So for that reason, I'm playing the Preparation of Rites, and it's a 3, like it just adds more consistency to the deck, makes it so that we don't have to play things like Brilliant Fusion to gain advantage, and instead we can just play more ritual focused cards. And then finally playing the Shinobird's Calling. This card is absolutely amazing, allowing us to banish spirit monsters from the graveyard for the ritual summon is just amazing, so we don't go minus off the ritual summons. So yeah, very, very good. For the extra deck space is pretty, I mean, you do have some cards that you definitely want to play, and I'll go over those cards first. And then when the Trimares come out, I feel like the Trimares are pretty good to play, just because things like Phoenix and Cerberus can be pretty nice to just splash in your deck, because your Baron, Baroness do leave tokens when they come back, so you can use one of the tokens to go into Link Spider, and then the other token to go into the Phoenix or Cerberus, or even the Goblin if you really need to, but usually these 2 are just the better cards to summon. Unicorn is also pretty nice, but yeah. So yeah, onto the extra deck. The cards that you really want to play are Hope Harbinger and Lancelot. These are your go-to level 8. This negates a spell, this negates everything, but this has more attack and can redirect attacks, whereas this can attack directly, so that's pretty good. Can actually help you win some games. Utopia package is debatable whether you want to play it or not, but right now I'm playing it just because like sometimes my models don't have enough attack points, and I can use things like my weaker monsters like the Manjus, the Cranes, the Nikitamas, the Aratamas, even the Manoiwaros to go into Utopia, so that's pretty good. Tornado Dragon is really good because it's a card that actually interacts on our opponent's turn, being able to destroy their continuous spells, pendulum spells, and field spells. That's usually what you want to try to destroy with this. So for that reason, Tornado Dragon is a spot. Baguska is just a nice staple that you can play, because sometimes you don't have the most optimal boards, but if you have like Nikitama and another spirit, like another level 4 spirit, you can always just go into Baguska, stall for a few turns, maybe get some resources by the time your Baguska is out of materials and it destroys itself. Castell is just solid. Removal, but even better is Diamond Eye Wolf, because with Diamond Eye Wolf you're able to destroy the tokens that your Shinobird monsters left, so you can like use the Diamond Eye Wolf to target destroy the token and destroy another card you put control. So Diamond Eye Wolf definitely is a must play in the deck. Dweller, not so much. I mean, it's good in some matchups, but not so good in other matchups. Maybe more of like a side deck card. It's really up to you. And then Cowboy for Game is very, very good in this deck. For the Link monsters, that you mostly want to play are things like Gradefly. Gradefly is actually really good because when it comes out, it makes it so that your tokens go from being 1,500 to 2,000, and 2,000 tokens are not a joke. Just look at things like the Pacifist, the Spiral Phantasm tokens. Those tokens are like 2,000 and they are not a joke. So yeah, Gradefly is a welcome addition to the deck when it comes out, but until then, we are playing the Underclock Taker. Being able to reduce the opponent's monster's attack is pretty nice. Deco Talker is just a staple in pretty much any deck that needs at least one link. And Triple Burst Dragon is really good to stop things like Mirror Forces. That's usually what if I know my opponent, or if I fear my opponent might have a Mirror Force, Triple Burst Dragon is really good for that. And also we can always tribute it and bring back a Underclock Taker, and eventually we can bring back a Gradefly to give our monsters even more attacks. So yeah. Now, this is the current TCG build. Let me just check what time we're on. Okay, so we're in 14 minutes. This is the current TCG build of the deck. The side deck version, well, the side deck is basically what the deck will look like in the future. The Trimares will come into play in May, and then the Devil Ritual cards will come into play in July. So now I'm going to change up the deck and show what the deck would look like in the future, in the near future that is. So starting off, futures that I like to make would be to cut out one Crane. Crane is good, but like I don't necessarily need it. Cut out the Upside Goblin and the Monster Reborn. Those cards are not as good. And then probably cut out the one Ben 10. Reason being because you have lots of ways to access the Ben 10, but when the Dead Rituals comes out, Ben 10 is just a nice little bonus, and it's a good prep target, so we want to make sure that our prep is always alive. Whereas if we have more copies of Ben 10, we are more likely to draw it, and we want to search it more than anything else. And then you're going to splash in the Dead Ritual cards. Just because these cards are very, very good. Now, I feel like they are fine at 2. 2 copies of each, because you are still playing the Manjus. Manju is still a really good card. You're still playing the Aratamas. Aratama is a good normal summon. Amano Wado is still a really good card. But if you want to play 3 copies of each, then you can always cut off things like a Manju, because if you're playing 3 copies of the Devil Rituals, Manju is really, like, you can easily just cut it down to 2, and you can probably cut out maybe like 1 copy of Amano Iwado, but Amano Iwado is just like a really solid card in the current meta. If the meta changes later on, then obviously just cut it out. And then for the extra deck, you can probably cut out the Dweller, cut out the Underclock Taker, the Prime, put in Gradefly, Cerberus, and Phoenix. Just because these cards, like these 2 are very good for removing things, and Gradefly is very good for bumping things up. And yeah, that's pretty much like what the deck would look like in the near future. But yeah, the deck still very much plays the same. You're just taking out cards that were suboptimal in some cases, or like dead draws, and instead you're playing more proactive cards that can that are really good combo starters or combo extenders, like the Devil Ritual cards. So yeah, I feel like I prefer this build just because the deck, it has a lot more diversity in the types of plays that it can make, and it's not as linear, because like it just really sucks having your Manju being ashed or something. So yeah, but Manju is still like a phenomenal card for like any ritual deck, so I wouldn't really want to cut it because it's probably like our best normal summon if we are going first. But if we are going second, the opponent has like a really strong field, then Amano Iwado most likely the best one. So yeah, this about concludes the deck profile. If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have fun playing SHINOBIRDs.